So far this year, the Detroit Lions offense is performing exactly as Lions fans thought it was going to. However, though, as we continue to go further into the year, it's quite possible that the Lions offense will have to do even more to eke out wins over opposing teams. We're going to talk about it in today's episode as the Lions get prepared to play the Falcons. So stay tuned, y'all.
It started with an owner who had a last name fans despised, hiring a coach that the experts thought was crazy,
But I got a plan, I swear to you.
who traded for a QB that was said to be washed up. They said the Detroit Lions would never amount to anything, that it would always be the same old Lions. But this team, our team, has a new identity, defined and expressed by the crazy head coach,
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes, I will beat your ass.
led by the QB that nobody thought was good. Motor City Mania is in full swing and ready to start. So join the show and be prepared for kneecap biting, because Motor City Mania starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of MCM, Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and we are diving in right now. And with that, folks, I just want to obviously say, as I always do, thank you all for everything you guys do. Thank you all to the fans for your view, for your support, for your patronage. I just want to continue to say God bless you all and all that you do. You guys are the reason why I do this. And with that having been said, let's get into today's content. So, here's the thing, folks. We've already been through 2 games of the year, and for the most part, the Lions offense has done exactly what we thought it was going to do. It's looked very good, it's looked crisp, it's looked excellent. There's been very few problems as far as execution of plays, as far as being able to get in and out of the huddle, as far as being explosive. The Lions offense has looked particularly well so far. I mean, obviously, the turnovers last game were a bit of a problem. Obviously, the fact that we were a little bit slow coming out the gate against the Kansas City Chiefs, that I attribute more to rust and the fact that the starters hadn't really practiced in the preseason or done anything in the preseason as far as playing games. But so far, on an overall level, the Lions' offense has looked particularly well. However, though, as we get further and further into the season, the Lions are going to continue to go up against some interesting teams that are going to try and do different things to try and slow them down. And here's the thing. One team that the Lions are going to be going up against that I know that they're definitely going to try and do something is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. But I'm going to say this right now. The Atlanta Falcons defense so far, even though it's played very well, at least according to the statistics and at least according to the fact that they are 2-0, I have to put this out there. The Falcons defense has not played against the top offense. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at the 2 opponents that the Falcons have played against so far. They played against the Carolina Panthers in their home opener, and they played last week at home against the Green Bay Packers. Well, if you all keep track of the NFL news like I do, that's not exactly a good barometer, a good litmus test of what you would be expecting from top NFL offenses. What do I mean by this? Well, the Carolina Panthers are breaking in a rookie quarterback, a very short rookie quarterback who already is injured. And then you've got the Green Bay Packers who are starting a first-time starting quarterback as far as their full season starter as well in Jordan Love. So you're going up against Bryce Young and Jordan Love, 2 guys that are relatively new to being starting quarterbacks in the NFL, despite one being in the NFL for several years. So for me, it's like, okay, that's not exactly a good, like I said, a litmus test, a good barometer, a good measuring stick of, okay, where exactly those offenses are in relation to your defense. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the Falcons' defense has looked statistically very good against those 2 teams. But it's like, okay, here. If you want to talk about the statistical aspect of this, why don't we take a look at what the Packers and Panthers offenses have done statistically? And I'm going to put both of them up on the screen right now, and I'm going to tell you this right now. It does not look good. Just take a look at these numbers. If you take a look at the Packers, every single statistical ranking that I've got, except 2 of them, is ranked 24th or lower. Total offensive yards, 26. Passing yards, 24th. Rushing yards, 25th. First downs, 29th. Penalties, 27th. Rush average, 26. The only thing that they do really well is pass the ball as far as pass per average and scoring drive percentage. Those are ranked 6th and 12th, respectively. But when you take a look at the Panthers, it's just as bad. When you take a look at them, offensive yards, total offensive yards, ranked 28th. Passing yards, dead last in the league. Rushing yards, it is top 10. First downs, 28th. Penalties, 23rd. Rush average, ranked 3rd, obviously. Passing average, dead last in the league. And scoring drive percentage, 28th. You're talking about 2 offenses that virtually are just absolutely crap. They only do one thing particularly well, which is either run the ball well or they get good amount of chunks on pass plays. That's about it. Neither one of them are really all that good at what they do. They're still trying to figure themselves out because, again, you're breaking in two brand new quarterbacks to a new system. Whether one's a rookie or been in the league for 3 years, they're still brand new starting quarterbacks. So that's the first thing there as far as the Falcons' defense. But again, we kind of have to keep this in perspective because if we're going to talk about statistics, we need to take a look at how the Lions do statistically because I'm trying to set up that disparity. I'm trying to set up that contrast, that compare and contrast here. I just showed you guys what the Panthers and Packers offense looks like statistically. Now take a look at the Lions. The Lions, they're ranked 4th in total offensive yards. They're ranked 5th in passing yards. They're ranked 14th in rushing yards. They're tied for 16th in first downs. They are tied for 3rd in penalties, which is good. They're ranked 21st in rushing average. They're ranked 2nd in passing average. And they're ranked 20th in scoring drive percentage. So, on an overall level, they're much better than both the Panthers and the Packers. Some of their statistics could use a lot more as far as getting the higher averages or higher numbers, but virtually on every single level, the Lions' offense is much, much better than either the Panthers or the Packers. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, like I said, is the fact that the Falcons' defense statistically has looked very formidable. It has looked very, very intimidating, and I'm going to show you guys what I mean right now. Take a look at the Falcons' defensive stats and rankings. In terms of total defensive yards, they're ranked 3rd in the NFL. Passing yards, they're tied for 2nd. Rushing yards, they're ranked 22nd. First downs, they're ranked 11th. Penalties, they're tied for 23rd. Rushing average, they're tied 22nd. Passing average, they're tied for 2nd. And their scoring drive percentage is ranked 5th. That's a pretty good set of numbers right there. But again, like I just brought up, they've gone against two really crappy offenses that really should not be a barometer of where their statistically ranking is. That ranking, those rankings I just gave, let's just call for what it is. It's a facade. It's literally fool's gold. Like, those rankings are very, very soft, especially when you consider the fact that you've gone up against the Panthers and the Packers, whose offenses are still trying to figure themselves out. And like I said, they're breaking in new quarterbacks. So I know some people are going to be like, well, the Falcons have looked really good on defense. Yeah, they're also going up against some teams that are not exactly all that good offensively. So there's that. Now, statistics are one thing. Here's why I say the statistics are something that are really peculiar, because I stand by stats quite a bit. But one of the things that I've done a lot since last year going into this year is I've also taken a look at film review, film study, because what you see on film is definitely going to give you either an endorsement of what the stats are telling you, or it's also going to be a contraction to what the stats are telling you. So I went back and I took a look at the Packers versus Falcons game. Why? Well, here's the reason why. We're playing the Falcons this week, and then Thursday next week, we're playing the Packers. Seems to be a pretty good strategy to take a look at both teams while they're in prime action. So I decided, okay, let's take a look at both of these teams, and I decided to say, okay, how does the Packers offense do against, the Falcons defense and vice versa? So I'm looking at both of them here to try and get you guys a little bit of an understanding of what we can expect. Now, here's the thing. We're talking about the Lions offense in this video. So what I'm going to be looking at is how the Packers offense performs against the Falcons defense in these episodes. And I've got another episode that's coming out that's going to do it in the reverse of the Lions defense. So we're going to be looking at the Falcons defense and all that nonsense. So again, let's take a look-see here at what we've got to work with. So in this very first play, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to either show you guys something that the Packers missed on or something that they did really freaking well. So, in this first play here, what you're going to see is a 3 wide receiver set out of the gun with a tight end. So again, Love is in the gun, like I just said. He's going to bring his wide receiver, Jaden Reed, in motion. The ball is snapped. It's a play-action play, something that we already know that the Lions and Jared Goff do very, very well. Now, what happens? Jordan Love, he makes a very quick read, and he sees that it's zone coverage. So what does he do? He finds where the soft zone is. He makes a quick throw. But here's the problem as the play runs through. The wide receiver that Jordan Love throws to does not recognize that this is the play, doesn't recognize that this is the zone coverage that he's throwing to, and that's wide receiver number 87, Romeo Doubs. So what does he do? Instead of slowing down or looking back towards the quarterback, he just keeps on running. And he doesn't sit in the zone or look back to the quarterback to actually pick up the pass, pick up the reception, so that way they can move the ball. And again, I'm going to show you all a still frame of what I'm talking about here. Take a look at this zone. You can see the zone in the box that I'm referring to. If Romeo Doubs had just simply sat down or had been looking towards the quarterback to receive the pass, this is an easy pitch and catch all freaking day long. This is one of those opportunities, at least throwing the ball, that the Packers missed on against the Falcons defense. Now, why am I talking about this right now also in terms of the Falcons? When you have a quarterback and wide receiver that are still kind of trying to figure themselves out because they haven't developed that chemistry, that camaraderie like Love and Romeo Doubs have, that's stuff that you're going to miss. And stuff like that you miss is going to impact how a game is performed. Again, we're talking about a Packers team here that lost by 1 freaking point against the Falcons. So again, it's not like the Falcons just beat up the Packers. They barely won. And that was also dealing with some severe injuries to their offense and defense. So it's like, listen, I'm not at all particularly worried about the Falcons. We're going to have to play a good game against them. But when you start seeing what I'm going to show you here in this film, it's going to look a lot more, how should I say this, probable that the Lions will be able to actually pull out a win here, especially since we're going to be at home and not at the Falcons' place. Now, that was the first play. Let's take a look at the second play. Again, in this play, we're going to be in the gun yet again. It's going to be an empty formation. So again, like I said, Love is in the gun all alone. The Falcons decide to bring 5 men. They're going to bring the heat. They're blitzing. They're going to bring pressure. But the reason that this play is blown up, I want you guys to pay particularly close attention. Take a look at what the left tackle of the Packers does. He goes out with the tight end, which is actually a running back in this particular play, and he goes to block the edge rusher. Well, that 5th man, that linebacker that's blitzing, he gets a free look. There's nobody that blocks him. So now all of a sudden, pretty much, there's a free guy that's going right after the quarterback. Jordan Love has no room. He has no ability to escape. So what happens? The Falcons linebacker is given an open lane to Love, and he sacks him quickly. And again, you have to think about this more particularly. This is how I know that this kind of a play was one that was really missed on by the Packers. I want you guys to take a look at this still frame here. Look at the space that number 27, that running back that the left tackle went with, who was supposed to just sort of be like a delay block and then kind of slip into coverage. Look at the space that number 27 has afterwards, that if all Love had been given is 1 or 2 extra seconds, Love would have passed this ball and this guy could have instantly gone and picked up a good first down or probably even more. Again, these are opportunities that are lost. These are opportunities that the Packers missed on to make crucial, important plays during the game. And again, you want to know what's important about this play too? This was a play that stopped a drive after the Packers got an interception off of Desmond Ridder. So what this means right here is that the Packers offense, because of miscues, could not take advantage of the Falcons' miscues and take points out of them. So in essence, the Packers missed out on the opportunity to get a 7-point swing right there. That's a problem. That is, again, missed opportunity that the Packers could have had that would have greatly turned the tide in their favor. Because, again, when you only lose by 1 point, getting a touchdown makes a huge damn difference. So, again, just pointing that out for what it is. Now, let's take a look at this next play here. Again, we're going to see the offense in a 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end, 1 running back set. This is known as a 12 formation. 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 1 and 2, 12. Pretty self-explanatory. Anyway, you got 2 tight ends to the right. You got 1 wide receiver on both sides. Now, what do we have here? We have Love under center. Again, this is a play-action pass. The Packers keep one of those tight ends in as a pass blocker, something to give Love a little extra protection. Now, what happens here? Take a look at what happens on the play. Romeo Doubs, number 87, he gets off the line with absolutely no opposition. There's no check or anything from the Falcons' defensive backs. That is a problem. Pretty much what it means is that Romeo Doubs, he is wide open. Love cannot, and he doesn't miss this throw. It's a huge soft zone coverage. Again, I'm going to show a still frame of this right now. It's huge. Again, there is no way Jordan Love could miss this as a professional quarterback. So what does he do? He throws a wide open throw to the middle of the field on a slant route to Romeo Doubs. This picks up like a good 13, 14, 15 yards. Like, this is easy pickings right here. This is easy pitch and catch. There is no way any quarterback and wide receiver should miss on this kind of a throw. This is what I'm talking about. When the opportunities are presented to you as an offense, you have to take advantage. The first 2 plays I showed, the Packers offense did not do that, either because they missed on something or because a player screwed up. That is a problem. But when the other opportunities were presented, the Packers did take advantage of those plays. Now, that was the 3rd play. Let's take a look at the 4th one. Excuse me, I'm still a little bit under the weather. Anyway, fourth play. We're in the gun again. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. Now, again, Love is in the gun. What he's going to do is he's going to bring that rookie wide receiver, Jaden Reed, in motion. He then snaps the ball. This ball is going to just simply be a quick snap shovel pass as the wide receiver comes in motion on the backside behind, the offensive line, in between him and in between Jordan Love and the lineman. So then what happens? The tight end and the offensive line, the whole offensive line, they shift to the right to try and set an edge. So then that way the wide receiver can then use that edge to run around the outside. What then happens is the running back that was in the backfield, he sets up as a second level blocker and then in essence becomes a lead blocker going on down the field. What does this do? It allows freaking Jaden Reed to get all the way to the pylon and score a touchdown. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, there's a reason why I'm bringing it up. If you all paid very close attention to the game against the Seattle Seahawks, we saw the Lions run this type of play twice. Once with Amon-Ra St. Brown and once with Khalif Raymond. I'm going to show you just one of the plays right here so that way you guys can understand the simplicity of how this play is being executed between both ball clubs. Again, this play for the Packers resulted in a touchdown. For the Lions, it resulted, I think it was like an 8 or 9 yard pickup. But again, it's a very similar style of play that worked very successfully both against the Seahawks for the Lions and the Falcons for the Packers. My whole point is this. There's already some overlap between both of these teams, which means if the Packers can do it successfully against the Falcons, I see no reason in hell why the Lions can't. Again, taking advantage of those opportunities that the Packers have already given us in film study to use on the field against the Falcons is already crucial information to have. That's why I'm presenting it to you, the fans, so do not be surprised if we see a play like this being used on Sunday. Now again, here's the last play. Again, one of the things that I have talked about several times on this channel is the fact that Jared Goff, the quarterback of the Detroit Lions, he is a play-action nightmare for defenses because anytime it's a play-action pass, Jared Goff almost always seems to find the damn wide receiver that's open. Doesn't matter if it's St. Brown, doesn't matter if it's Josh Reynolds, Sam Laporta, doesn't matter. Jared Goff is the king of play-action passing, and I've proven this multiple times before. He had the highest play-action passer rating last year out of all quarterbacks in the NFL, including Patrick Mahomes. So, in this particular play, what I'm going to show is, you guessed it, a play-action play. And the reason why is because, it results in a touchdown. Kind of giving you guys a little bit of sneak peek here. But again, we're in a 12 formation again. We have 2 tight ends, 1 running back. We have two wide receivers. Jordan Love is under center. What happens here? Love brings wide receiver number 13 in motion. I don't know who this guy's name is, so I'm just referring to him as wide receiver number 13 because that's his number. Anyway, the ball is snapped. What you're going to see is the front side tight end that's on the right-hand side of the formation. He drops back and he kind of comes to the backside as a backside blocker to ensure that Jordan Love's blind side is further protected. What then happens is, as I said, Love does a play-action motion. What happens is Love then starts perusing the field. Sorry, I couldn't find that word there for a moment. As Love looks around, he finds that number 13 is coming in on an in-breaking route. He's open. So he throws a dart over the middle of the field. Number 13 makes the catch, and here's where I see some similarities, again, for the Lions. Whether it's Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta, this guy breaks 2 tackles, and he goes into the end zone. He puts in second and third efforts to get into the end zone. Again, what you're seeing here, much like I've shown in other plays, is areas where the Falcons are not necessarily doing a very good job. Missed tackles, blown coverages. These are things that the Lions, being in a much more synchronized, much more, how should I say this? They have much more chemistry developed after being together for 2 to 3 years, whereas with the Packers, they're still trying to figure themselves out. This should be an area that the Lions take full advantage of in the passing game. Now, I know some people are going to bring this up. Well, David, you brought up all these passes. Why didn't you bring up any of the running plays against the Packers and Falcons? Here's the reason why. You guys already know the reason. The Packers did not do very good against the Falcons running the ball. But I will say this. One of the things that I kept noticing when I watched the game tape is the Packers did not do a very good job run blocking. I can tell you this right now. Our offensive line is a much more astute and much more, how should I say this, powerful run blocking unit than what I saw with the Packers. Because again, you take a look what the Falcons have up front, it's not necessarily anything that's formidable. They do have Calais Campbell, but Calais Campbell's freaking 37 years old. He's not exactly the same kind of player he used to be 10 years ago. They've got some decent other guys on defense, but again, I fully expect that the Lions should be able to get the running game going along with the passing game. And here's the thing. To kind of give this as another little contrast here, I showed two plays where the freaking Packers, I showed that last play, where the Packers ran a play action play and it worked successfully for a touchdown. If you're able to still run play action successfully when you have virtually no running game, imagine what the Lions will be able to do if they just have even a slightly better running game performance than what the Packers did. That's my whole point here. The Falcons' defense is not as formidable, in my opinion, as what a lot of people are trying to point it out to be. Yes, they do have some good, talented pieces on that defense. But again, this Lions offense is very deep as well. We have a much better quarterback in Jared Goff over Jordan Love. We have more weapons on offense that have been together or are much better talent-wise than what the Packers have. And on top of that, here's the real kicker. The Falcons are not at home. They're coming to our home stadium. It's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. We're going to have everything rolling. Because again, the Falcons are not the Seahawks. This is a completely different type of program. The biggest thing that the Lions have to do with the Falcons is shut down the running game, which I'll get to that in the next episode. But you understand my whole point here. The Lions should be in a much better position to be able to win this game than what they were against the freaking Seahawks, even with the injuries. That's my whole point. Now again, having said all that, I just want to say thank you all for watching this episode. Thank you all for everything that you do. And with that, I'm going to end the episode and just say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM, Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to do one of these three things. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed, you've not yet had a chance to do so, I highly encourage y'all please to turn on that bell notification icon that's at the bottom of the page, so that way you get all the notifications of when I push out content. I highly encourage y'all to do it. I also encourage y'all please to share this Lions content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it everywhere and anywhere that you can with everyone and anyone that you can. Let's help get this channel continue to grow and continue to take off. And with that being said, folks, again, thank you all for watching the content. Thank you all for your view, your support, your patronage. And with that having been said, I just want to say God bless. And until the next time we meet, I'll see y'all in the next episode.